Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, or if you're new, my name is Tanisha and I love taking you along on my reading journey. And today I'm going to read a new release and also a highly anticipated read called Atmosphere. This is one of the book club books that I'm going to read this month. I bought tickets for a book club in a bookstore in Rotterdam, and this is the book club book for that meeting. So I'm going to read it and I'm going to try and annotate it. I don't annotate my books very often. I think I only have 3 books in my bookshelves that have annotations, and I want to get into it more because I've noticed that those 3 books that I annotated are the most ingrained in my mind. Like, I read them so intensely that I still remember them, even though it has been months and sometimes even years since I read those books. So I think for a book club meeting, especially a physical one where I'm expected to talk a lot about the book and what I think, I thought it would be best to annotate the book. And I'm also going to write notes because today is July 1st and this meeting is not until the 28th. I think maybe 27, 28. It's a couple weeks ahead of time, but I have 2 book club books that I have to read this month. The second book is for a different book club that I have with girls that I met on TikTok, and our book club meeting is at the beginning of August, but the reading vlog for that book won't be out until August. We have decided to not tell each other any of the ratings. I'm not going to post my rating on Goodreads. I'm not going to talk about it on the internet. I'm just going to try and stay safe with that. But with this book, I don't know anyone who is going to the meeting. I don't even know who is going to the meeting. I just bought a ticket and I'm just going to show up. I have spoken to the owner already and she was very excited about the book. She had already read it, rated it 5 stars, I think. She also mentioned it in her favorite books of the first half of the year video. So I am so excited to read this book, and I also have high expectations because this is the 3rd book I'm going to read by this author. The other 2 books I rated highly. I loved them. Her characters feel so real. So I expect every single character from Atmosphere to also feel real. This is a historical fiction and also a romance, and this book is about the summer of 1980 where a new group of astronauts join NASA and they are working towards going to space. And I'm pretty sure the female main character is supposed to be the first woman that goes to space. So that sounds amazing. Then in December of 1984, on mission STS-LR9, everything changes in an instant. So yeah, I also prepared tabs. I tried to color match them with the cover. I tried to go for a sunset theme. The colors don't match exactly, but this is the best I could do with the tabs that I had. And I also have a black pen because that is what I like to do when I'm annotating. The goods are here. I am prepared to start this book. It is very early. It is only 7:19 and I don't have to leave until like 9:20ish. So I have a good amount of time to read before I have to go to work. So I'm just going to make myself a morning coffee, maybe sit outside if the temperature is pleasant enough already, and I'm just going to start this book. It's about an hour and 20 minutes after we last spoke. I've been reading this book very slowly. I'm trying to take every single word in, and I'm trying to take notes when I have some thoughts so I can use that for my book club meeting. I have already annotated a few pages. These are either very beautiful quotes or things that I think are foreshadowing. Like I said, this book is about the summer of 1980, where our main character Joan is starting to work at NASA, and the back talks about December of 1984, where everything changes during a mission. This book started with this big change. So the book starts at 1984 with this big event that happens, which means that you go from 0 to 100 starting at page 1, and that made me dive into the story very easily. I didn't need any time to get into the story. The first page hooked me on, and I have been invested ever since. I have met the main character, I have met some of her family, people who she is going to call friends, and I really like the dynamic that she has with her sister and her niece, and also with one of the other people who are new at NASA, and those are also the things that I have annotated. And this book already gives me a big feeling that this book is about ambition and motivation and dreams and wanting to mean something to the world. Especially one of the quotes here is, "I want to go somewhere so few people have ever gone that you could name them all. And when people do name them, I want them to name me." And that just gives the essence that I think this book is going to give. The cover of the book says "Atmosphere, a love story." At least the two books that I have read are not solely romance books. They are historical fiction, contemporary stories with romance in them, just like normal life. And I think this book is also going to be a glimpse out of the main character's life. And there is going to be some love, but also heartbreak. And I'm so excited to read it. I'm going to get ready for work now, and I think I'm going to read some more tonight. It's day 2 of reading Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I'm currently at page 68 and I have about 8 annotations or tabs. So far I'm really liking this story. I already told you that the beginning of the book really takes you from 0 to 100, so it is very easy to dive into the story and to get into the story. I really like the main character. I really like the people that are surrounded by her. She did have a few situations at work where I was like, I don't really like this. She is obviously a woman in STEM, like she works at NASA, and this is 1980 until 1984, so obviously women are not being as respected in the workforce as they might be right now, especially in a company where men are the majority of the population. So that was something where I was like, I don't really like this, and not to say that Taylor Jenkins Reid is not doing a good job. She is writing this so realistically, because it would have been weird if this story was supposed to be in 1980 and no one was making weird jokes or stuff like that. So in my opinion, Taylor Jenkins Reid is doing an amazing job at making these stories feel realistic, and also the characters feel super realistic, because I already feel like I want to Google them, even though I know they are fictional. Another thing that I also really like about this book so far is that I feel this sense of found family going to happen. In the part where I'm right now, Joan just met everyone. I don't exactly know how long she has been in the company so far because time is not being talked about too much. All her colleagues are new to her. She doesn't know them too long yet, but I already can feel that the dynamic between the characters and the friend group is forming. The relationships between the characters are being built, and I can already see that this is going to be a very good group of people. I really like the dynamic so far, and I really think that this book is going to have this big found family aspect, which you obviously know that I love. Those are my thoughts so far. I'm going to finish my evening coffee and I'm going to keep reading, and I will probably talk to you tomorrow when I have made some more progress. Today is day 4 of reading Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid, and I'm currently at page 148, which means I am so close to the halfway mark. I have been enjoying this read so far. I've been annotating so much, and I honestly really like the annotation process. At first I was a little bit scared that me having to stop reading every time to underline quotes would be distracting, but it actually makes me read the story more intensely because I give myself time to stop and pause and think about what I just read, especially when I'm underlining and putting my tabs in. So I really like the process so far, and I also think that I'm going to annotate more books because of the experience I'm having right now. So yeah, those are my thoughts on annotating. As far as the story goes, I'm still invested, like I said, 1,000,000,000 times. Taylor Jenkins Reid's writing is just so beautiful. I noticed it in Malibu Rising and also in The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. She writes amazing quotes. She writes realistic stories about realistic people. I always forget that the people she writes about are not real people. It just feels like a real autobiography instead of a fiction novel. So that's what I really like about this book, but just Taylor Jenkins Reid in general. I'm almost halfway through the book. Most of the story I have read is about the end of 1980 / the beginning of 1981. And sometimes we go forward to 1984 with what happened after the event the book started with. And that makes the story also very interesting because you already know what is going to happen, but you're also just getting to know the characters. You're learning about who they are, you read about them becoming friends, knowing what is going to happen. And it's also just interesting to read about what happened at the beginning of the book and how the characters went from starting at NASA, working towards this mission, and what happened before the main event happened, if that makes sense. I'm trying to be as vague as possible because I don't want to give any spoilers. I'm very excited to continue reading. The weather outside is amazing, so I'm probably going to go outside now and read. I think I'm going to update you again when I finish the book, but if there are very big things happening in between that I really want to talk about, I will do another update before I finish the book. But right now I think we will see each other when I finish this book. has been a couple hours since we last spoke and I finished Atmosphere, and whoa. I think I was holding my breath. The last 20 or so pages, the ending of this book was so intense. Even though I had a really good feeling what was going to happen, I was still not prepared to when we were at the point. This book is so much more than just a love story. It is about Joan's passion for space, her love for the earth and everything that is around it, but also the love for her niece, the love for her co-astronauts, the dynamics that everyone had with each other, and also the struggles that they had with especially the women being in a workforce where men were leading, and a bunch of things that we are much more okay with right now were still frowned upon back then. But yeah, this book is so good. I think I'm going to think about this book a long time. I'm very glad that I read it. I'm also so happy that I decided to annotate it, because I have so many annotations and I can see myself flipping through this book once in a while and looking back at all the quotes that I underlined. I also took a bunch of notes for that book club meeting, so I can also just go back into my notes and read about all the thoughts that I had while reading this book. This book is just the reason why I love reading so much, because this book made me feel so much in such a short time. This book only has 320 pages, which is still a decent amount of pages, but I've been reading 500, 600, even 700 page books, and realizing that a book this size can make me feel just as much as a 5-part series like Magnolia Parks makes me realize again why I love reading so much, and also why Taylor Jenkins Reid is an amazing author. Those are my thoughts for now on Atmosphere. I don't know if this is a solid 5-star book. I'm still debating on if I'm going to give it 5 stars. It was really good, and like I said, it made me feel all these things, but there were some parts where I wasn't as invested as I was. I was never bored, but there were just some parts where I was okay putting the book down, and normally a 5-star book is me not being able to put a book down, so that's why I am hesitant to giving this book 5 stars, but it at least will get a 4.5 star for me for right now, and I might bump it up when I find myself constantly thinking about a book, but for now, for the sake of this video, I'm rating it 4.5 stars. Those are my thoughts on this book. So with that being said, thank you so much for watching. Comment down below if you have read this book already, and if not, if it's on your TBR, and I will see you in my next video whenever I post it. Bye!